A quick show of hands. How many of us would say that life is challenging and things don't always turn out the way we want them to? You can show your hands. Amazing, thank you. Welcome to life. And welcome to planet Earth. So sometimes expectations can be very, very different from reality. You see, I didn't grow up wanting to become a public speaker. So how in the world did I end up speaking around the globe and on the TEDx stage? So for this, we'll need to hit the rewind button, and I'll walk you through a journey that has 4 parts. Blood, Mum, Einstein, and lions. And trust me, it will all make sense eventually. Growing up, I've always wanted to become a pilot. In 2013, after finishing my postgraduate studies in Melbourne, I've decided to revisit my dream of flying again. So after going through a couple of trial introductory flying lessons, I had to go for my aviation medical. Everything checked out fine until the doctor discovered that there was something a little bit off in my blood. And so she sent me for further testing. And soon enough, she discovered that I had this rare and weird blood condition called essential thrombocythemia. And trust me, there is nothing essential about it. All right, so the good news is that if I got a cut, it clots really quickly. But the bad news, as she told me, is that I have a higher risk of getting a stroke. And so my doctor told me, hey Dom, you know what? I wouldn't risk putting you in a cockpit of a plane with hundreds of passengers. What if your heart stops? And hence, I couldn't proceed with my dream of flying anymore. So how would you feel if your dreams got crushed by reality? For me, at that point of time, I was really frightful, fearful, and even frustrated as to how my life, my health, my career, and my future would unfold. But I made the firm decision that as long as this heart in my chest is beating, I'll do whatever it takes to succeed. And that was my first turning point. So lesson number 1, decision. To thrive in change, make the decision that you will succeed no matter what. So now that my dreams of flying are pretty much gone, it was back to the drawing board. And since I've been out and about without income for a while, I had to get things going so that I could pay for my bills. At that point of time, I was living in an apartment with a couple of friends along Bouverie Street in Carlton. And as you can see here, we didn't really have furniture. It's either we used our money for rent or for furniture. And the choice is obvious. And so we used milk crates as our makeshift tables and chairs. When I was looking for work, days soon turned into weeks, which soon turned into months. And I was starting to get really restless, really agitated, and really desperate with my whole situation. I just wanted things to change, and I wanted things to get going for me. So I applied for pretty much whatever jobs that I could get my hands on. Engineering management, engineering, project management, business consulting, marketing, admin, filing, and even newspaper delivery, whatever which I could potentially take on. So there was this day when my parents came over to Melbourne for a holiday, and I was sitting just in front of my mum in this restaurant for dinner, and I was at the lowest point of my job search. I just told her, hey Mum, you know what? I'll take any job. Any job will do. Any job that can pay the bills. If you knew my mum, most of the time she'd tell me things like, hey son, don't work so hard. Learn how to take it easy and enjoy life. Don't push yourself so much, sweetie. Take it easy and learn how to stop and smell the roses sometimes, you know? Don't stress yourself too much. But this time around, she gave me this one piece of advice, which I will never, ever, ever forget. She said, son, don't apply for work just to pay the bills. You need to think bigger than that. And then I was like, yes, Mom, you're right. So my mom literally stretched my thinking. She caused me to see that a career is not just about income, but about influence. It's not just about generating currency, it's about leaving a legacy. So she literally kicked me from a fixed mindset to to a growth mindset, but that started to build up the grit and resilience in me to help me improve my situation. And so I made my next firm decision that I'll never want to disappoint mom ever again, and I'll go all out in all that I did. So lesson number 2 is this: relationships. To thrive in change, surround yourself with people who can hold you to a higher standard. When I was going through the whole job search process, there was this day I came across a quote by Einstein, and he said, "Insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result." So deep down, I knew that if I wanted things to change, that I had to change first. And someone also said that if you want to get to where you haven't been before, you need to start to do things which you haven't done before. So I was sick and tired of just getting hundreds and hundreds of rejection emails from employers. I was sick and tired of just sitting in front of the computer, sending out job applications, staring at the freaking screen and waiting for things to happen. I wanted things to change, and I knew that I had to innovate in my approach. So what I did was I decided to start a careers magazine with a friend. So 2 jobless guys working on a careers magazine. Why not, right? Anything's possible. Go for gold. So even though I was working on 2 other side jobs, part-time, at that point of time while hustling on the magazine, we actually managed to reach about 4,000 university students in the course of 6 months. And I also had the chance to conduct careers workshops for 2 universities. It's through that whole process that I discovered my passion for speaking. When I got on stage, it just felt right. It felt as if I was made to be there, that I was supposed to be there, that I was born for the stage. It just felt right. So being on the platform was my way to share my story so that I can serve and impact the world around me. At the end of the day, I counted. I had to send out a total of 526 resumes over the course of 561 days before landing a role as a business and management trainer. So the whole process was tough and grueling, but it was worth it because I loved every single bit of that job. So lesson number 3 is this: identity. To thrive in change, be the one who makes change happen. I used to think that I had a fixed calling in life, that if I missed the boat, I would have missed it completely. But going from the piloting dream to public speaking actually showed me that humans, like you and me, can be very, very versatile, adaptable, and resilient in the midst of change. So don't worry if you haven't figured out what to do with your life, and don't freak out if you haven't discovered your life's calling. Because every single one of us is on a different journey, and everyone's timing is different as well. So at that point of time, I was just soaking and immersing myself in my passion for speaking, and I was loving every single bit of it. But like any ambitious individual, we all know that we can accomplish so much more. In September 2015, I had a chance to go for a mission trip with some of my church friends to Kenya. And towards the end of the trip, we went on to the safari for some R&R. So there was this day, we were just driving along in the Land Rover, just going across the grasslands that stretched as far as the eye could see. And along the way, you will encounter your friendly neighborhood lions, cheetahs, gazelles, zebras, wildebeest, and many more friends. And my buddy who was sitting beside me, he said something really, really interesting. He said, "If you were a lion, you could do anything, and anything could be your lunch. But if you were a gazelle, you would always be looking over your shoulder at every single step of the way for the rest of your life." How profound was that in the safari? So deep down, I knew that there were no rewards to those who played it safe, to those who played it small, and to those who played it scared. But it always pays to be a winner, and I'll choose to be the lion over the gazelle at any single day. I thought to myself, what's the worst that could happen if I went all out in all that I did? So I started to picture and to visualize myself speaking on the world stage and doing crazy adventures with my life. Exactly 2 years from that lion conversation in the safari, I saw myself packing my bags to head to Morocco to speak at a youth leadership conference. And that was my first international speaking engagement. So how good was that? I'm only scratching the surface. So talk about the power of visualization with lots of hard work in between as well. So fast forward to today. I've done international speaking around the world. I have been featured on several media outlets. I've done long-distance endurance races like marathons and ultramarathons. I've also skydived, bungee jumped, and abseiled off a building in the CBD as well. So this sounds cool, a bit crazy, and quite awesome because just a few years back, I was this international student wondering what to do with my life. So lesson number 4, visualization. To thrive in change, picture your ideal outcome and then work relentlessly towards it. We know that change is the only constant, and life can sometimes throw many kinds of things at us. Lemons, bricks, crap, and many more. And along the way, things can happen. So things can screw up, things can muck up, and things can blow up. So just to recap, here are the 4 things to help you navigate this journey and to crush it in life. So number 1, decision. Make a stand. Make a commitment. Draw a line in the sand and tell yourself that no matter what happens to you, you will always, always find a way to succeed. So for me, it was making that firm decision that as long as this heart in my chest is beating, I'll do whatever it takes to succeed. Number 2, relationships. People who are successful in life are also successful in their relationships. To thrive in change, surround yourself with people who can hold you to a higher standard. Number 3, identity. So change can happen to you or it can happen because of you. To thrive in change, it is all about taking full ownership and responsibility over your individual situation. And lastly, number 4, visualization. It is so easy and tempting to picture the worst case scenario. But I want to challenge you guys to actually visualize your ideal outcome. Why? Because success has to happen first in your mind before you see it with your very eyes. So the next time you're going through a change, a challenge, or a crisis, tell yourself that you can turn adversity into advantage, and you can turn your setback into your comeback. Thank you.